I've done that thing again where I've set everything up saying I'm gonna do a vlog today with only like a half-baked idea, which never goes well because I feel like I always lose my message halfway through and I just start rambling about something else. So I'm gonna try not to do that in this. First off, I'm sorry it's been a while. I think by now everyone knows I still kind of have this love-hate relationship with content creation, which is bad because it's my job. I am gonna try and make one video a week. That's not hard, is it? It shouldn't be. You know, I went through this phase last year where I uploaded one video every day for like a month and it was really, really good. What I should have done was like piece those videos out a bit because I'd probably still have some of those and there wouldn't have been this massive gap. So, bit more self-aware every day. Not always a nice thing. Anyway, before I really get into the meat of the describing my video as meat, like it's a sandwich. Like there's some real filling coming up, guys. Don't mind this bit of bread first. I have some news. I have some updates. I have a new single out. It's called What Have You Done For Me Lately? And I probably should have made a video talking about that sooner because it came out last Friday, but I didn't want people thinking that I've just, you know, miraculously jumped back on here sheerly because I have a new single out. Like it's, oh wow, what a coincidence. I'm very aware of that and I don't want people thinking that, and I'll get onto that later. Some of you guys might be aware that the White Stripes are one of my favourite bands growing up, and they inspired me a lot when I first decided that I wanted to make music. But I never actually, for someone who loves the White Stripes, I never thought to actually like explore their musicality, like in terms of creating something for myself, like that genre of like garage rock and blues and things like that. And for someone that's always loved it, it's weird that I haven't done that. And I thought, what better time in my career than now to just experiment and try stuff out. And I'm really, really happy with how it's come out. It's literally just my voice, bass guitar and drums. There's no guitar on it. So I guess it's like the opposite of the White Stripes. The red circles. Why am I vlogging? I'm really, really happy with it. It's not really for me to say it's really good. I guess that's subjective. Not everyone's gonna like it, but I really, really do. You can click down below to listen to it. I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a chance. A chance. I am from Essex. Chance. Oh, and the other thing is, I'm going to start Twitch live streaming soon, and I know I've been saying that for a really long time, but now that my PC actually works again, which took a long time, it just decided to update and then just not work at all. It just got completely destroyed by a Windows update, but it works again now. So I'm currently in the process of trying to set up OBS and all that stuff. I'm not very good at that stuff, if I'm honest. And I'm not going to be very good at Twitch, and I'm just going to preface that now. I'm not very good at the streaming. But I'm gonna be giving it a shot. That's not me jumping in and saying I'm gonna be a full-time Twitch streamer, new phase, everybody get behind me, and then not do it again for the rest of my life. I'm gonna just say that it's something that I'm gonna be doing occasionally, perhaps more frequently if I really enjoy it. Play some games, just chat, whatever. If you have any suggestions on video games you'd like me to play while hanging out with you guys, let me know, and I will link my Twitch channel down below. It's not active really yet, it hasn't been for a long time, but I'll link it down below so you can already follow it if you're interested in me streaming, and you know. But I'm still in the midst of setting things up with OBS, like notifications and putting the chat in the I'm terrible, and I shouldn't be allowed to stream. I also shouldn't be allowed to vlog, apparently. So, time for the meat. We've got past the bread, I think. Bread and butter. I wanted to try and come back to YouTube with something positive and fun, but it's a little bit hard for me right now because I'm not a very fun person. I'm not a very exciting person, so I have to try and convince people that I am. And that gets really tiring after 10 years. I've never been a good person or a fun person. The masquerade. But I saw someone talking about one of their favourite artists, and something they said really, it struck a chord with me a little bit. They said, I prefer this artist when they are showing that they're learning as opposed to when they're trying to teach me something. And I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. Because I feel like I've inadvertently come from a place where it sounds like I'm lecturing or preaching for a very, very long time. Like I've had my shit together. And I have never, ever once in my life had my shit together. I'm 30 now. I know I mention that a lot. maybe that's a crisis I need to sort out. But the decade in everyone's life where they make the most mistakes, make the most changes, grow the most emotionally, I have willingly chosen to spend every single day of my 20s as an online personality. That was a choice I made, and I'm not whinging about it. You know, some amazing things have come from it. I can't imagine my life had I not done that. And so far I spent 100% of my 30s doing it as well. Oh God, how long is she gonna do it for? Taking bets now. But the reason I mention that is because, you know, this is not a video of me saying, oh, I've made so many mistakes, and oh, you know, I've had to do it all on camera. But I kind of have. But I wanted to just talk about something that I have recently learned. And it's not me teaching you something. It's me talking about my experiences. And, you know, if you do learn something from it, if you do learn a lesson inadvertently, that you don't have to learn the hard way, then that's fantastic. I realized, you know, quite recently, I've been thinking about this for a while. It hasn't just been like, you know, a revelation, but it's making more and more sense to me why I get so pent up and obsessed over negativity. I reached a point quite early on when things started going really well for me. That's when the criticism came in, and I don't know if it was because I began to do worse and worse things, or because, you know, naturally, as more people have heard of you, then more people find something wrong with what you do. Maybe it was a blend of the two. But I very early on became obsessed with negativity directed towards myself. I was able to accept kind words and praise for the things that I did, but I couldn't let go of the mean things that were said about me. And when I say mean, I don't mean they weren't justified. I mean, you know, I found them to be very insulting and hurtful, whether they turned out to be true or not. Over the years, I've really sort of had a weird sort of relationship with online criticism for my personality or my actions, you know. And some of it I can just let go of, like, oh, that's a load of bullshit. And I worked out quite recently why some of it I'm able to shake off and some of it not so much. I think it often comes down to the fact that the criticism that sticks with us the most and upsets us the most is criticism where we don't think it's completely unfounded. And I think for quite some time I have, you know, I have often sought out criticism over just enjoying the kind words that people have said. And I think the reason for that, and here's the meat, is because it bolsters the idea that I have of myself, this constant voice that is always there in the back of my head, that my best isn't good enough. Their criticism backs up my own insecurities about myself. When someone criticizes my music, my singing voice, my songwriting, the fact that I don't, you know, make enough videos, the fact that, you know, I've often been rude and confrontational, you know, those things stick with me because I don't know if they're total bollocks or not. I think they justify the voice in my head, which then latches onto that criticism that then goes, see, you were always bad, and now other people see it too. That sounds really depressing, and I don't want it to sound like I'm just going, oh, woe is me, but it's like a sort of eureka moment in my own development of like, oh, that's why some of the stuff that's said, you know, I'm like, fuck off, because that bounces off me because there is no voice in the back of my head latching onto that, saying, you know, oh, you've always believed that about yourself. I think there's something to be said for that. A lot of people think that influencers, content creators, streamers are all self-obsessed narcissists that just, they absolutely love themselves. Like, they cannot get enough of themselves. Why else would they put themselves on camera 24/7 and make a living out of their personality if they didn't fucking absolutely love themselves? And what I have found over the last 10 years of doing it, after knowing myself and knowing a lot of other people in the same realm, is it's almost always the opposite, believe it or not. It's like we're all the weird art kids from school who just sought validation all of the fucking time. With every video, every upload, every tweet, every creation, every song, it's like, validation, please tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good at what I do. Because it's like in the back of our heads, we believe the opposite and we want to be told by someone that's not us that we're good. Oh God, how miserable is that? But I think it's the truth. And I'm not saying that by saying all this, I'm not saying that every single mean thing that someone says to you online or to your face or behind your back is true. You know, if it upsets you, then that means it's true. I'm not generalizing. This is all about my own personal experiences. Because, you know, over the years, there have been some things I know are not true, but they still upset me because they are just really mean. And that's, you know, but I think I'm getting better at distinguishing the differences between those times, you know, and thinking, oh, maybe there's actually something to be said for why I'm so upset about this. So I think there's this level that I haven't really acknowledged before in my own head. You know, I don't want to say like, oh, I'm sacrificing for my art. Oh my goodness, I'm so self-loathing. But I think there is an element of I'm not treating myself with the kindness that I could be, perhaps. And that's kind of seeped into how I feel when people give feedback on my work. I think there's something to be said about the way that I perceive what I do and who I am that very much has attached itself to my emotions when something less than glowing comes in about my work and my personality, because my personality is also my work, because I've made a living of just being myself on camera, and myself has changed a lot over the last 10 years to the point where people cannot keep up. How much of that has changed because of criticism? Can't tell you. Cannot tell you. How many times have I changed phases because something hasn't immediately taken off, and that's fed into the voice in the back of my head saying you're not good enough? Probably more times than I care to admit. And obviously the kicker is, if I had found and been and maintained a sense of like a constant sense of self, you know, over the last 10 years, and been happy with who I was, and not been so reliant on, you know, overwhelming feedback from other people, you know, I would have been more consistent and probably more happy within myself and more successful as well, which would have only driven more happiness, I suppose. This is a long video, and I'm sorry that I'm going on so much. It's a long video to return with. But I feel like I need to get this out for myself. And that's something that I need to do more. I need to do more things for myself and not just, you know, hoping that everyone will like it, you know? Basically, what I'm saying is, moving forward, even though it seems like I'm really full of myself and I love myself, that's not the case. That's drastically not the case. And I think if I show myself a bit more love, you know, and find more confidence in just being myself, I will actually come across as a kind of better human. It sounds weird, like, you know, caring about yourself more makes you less of a dick, but I think there's the meat. That's the meat right there. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna actively not expose myself to as much negativity concerning my work as I have done in the past. And when I do come across criticism, because some people do direct it at me, some people do it more behind closed doors, and then I've found it. But when I do come across it, which will not be through my own actions anymore, I'm gonna take a step back from what I've read or heard and ask myself a question. This is part of what, you know, what I've been learning recently as well. You know, instead of being so reactionary, take a step back and think, is what I'm hearing or reading, you know, actually the truth, or am I just getting offended on something that you think they're implying and they're not? And if it is just negative feedback on something, you know, are you getting are you up? How do you actually feel about this? Does it actually affect your confidence? How do you actually feel about this? And is it based in reaffirming an insecurity that you have? And, you know, I feel like actually stepping back and realizing that will help me process it a bit better and make me less of a dick. Because I don't ever want people to feel like they have to walk on eggshells around me, or, you know, when they talk about what I do. People should be able to say how they genuinely feel. And I should, at the age of 30, be a bit more emotionally intelligent than I am at this point. So that's something else that I'm going to be working on. I found that CBT has been very helpful for me. It's something I've really recently started, so I'm only at the beginning of unlocking a whole different way of thinking. It's better late than never, I guess. But I think it could go a long way. So that's been my journey of self-discovery so far. I have a lot more learning to do. I hope some of my rant and ramble made sense. I hope you enjoyed my my therapy sandwich for the day. I'm just gonna not hate myself as much. That sounds really emo. Dear diary, mood apathetic. But I think it will benefit myself in the long run, and it will, you know, it will just make me a better, kinder person to be around in general, because I won't be wrapping everything that people say around myself and around my insecurities. You know, I can be a very, very self-absorbed person sometimes, and I don't want to be that anymore. So I'm going to be making some changes in my life. Anyway, the next video I make will not be such a throwing of emotions and discoveries at you. You know, it's going to be more chill, I think, than this. Do you have any thoughts on it? You know, let me know. Let me know. Please let me know what you think of my new song. That would be really, really nice, and probably a good exercise for me to actually read feedback in a constructive way. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. See how long we keep that up for. Wow, God. Oh, I feel lighter now. Oh, God, that feels better.